bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Hi guys, so I'm about to do the manometry test, and she's just making sure that everything works, and yeah, and then she's gonna start it. So yeah, so I just thought I would tell you guys.
That's the computer they use to do her manometry. It's all the cords, and then this is the cords that's in her right now. So her blood pressure is a little low this morning, but we're not worried about it.
Because I've been laying down since yesterday, and the only way that I'm allowed to move is onto my side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Alrighty, so the manometry has started, so I just thought I would show it to you and kind of explain it. So, here's Savannah. Savannah's got all these little wires coming out of her that are underneath this, hooked up to kind of a water drip system. The water drips into the colon, and this is where they watch it. So, this top part is as far up in her colon as it can go, and this low part is like there's a few that's out. So like this is the rectum area, and so it kind of goes from like blue being no pressure or no muscle reaction all the way up. So as the water is dripping in, they're watching it to see how her colon is reacting. So she gets to eat in about, it's what, 8:30? So she gets to eat in 2 hours. And then, yeah, that's just what we're doing. Or that's how it works. The manometry tubing is clamped, or like the way one nurse explained it was it's actually like one suture into her, like this one specific area into her colon. So they will just pull it out once it's done, because it's the dissolvable sutures, so they'll be able to pull it out. They did do an x-ray this morning to make sure that the clip was still in the right spot before they started this. But yeah, that's just what we're doing. So we're just hanging out while we wait on the manometry. Looks like something's starting to wake up and move. All these dark, those are the contractions through the, like the higher strength contractions through her colon. She's been hooked up for about an hour, so yeah, that's what we're seeing. Oh, there's another big one.
How do you spell colon?
C-O-L-O-N. She finally gets to order some food.
That's all.
You can get a drink.
Can I also add a Sprite to that, please? Gary. What? Can I have, what kinds do you have? Thank you. Barely could hear it.
There's something there. Do you want me to go get you a Sprite? You sure? Or you have those drinks over there too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are you excited about your food? You want to tell them what you ordered? Hold on. Let's turn the volume down so they can hear you. Okay.
So I ordered an omelet, a gluten-free muffin, hash browns, and sausage.
And a Gatorade.
And an orange Gatorade.
She has to, for her test, she has to eat at least 400 calories. So she probably won't eat all that, but we wanted to order plenty just to make sure she had enough. She may eat all of it as long as she's been without food. But I wanted to make sure she had enough food for the test. So, yep, that's pretty much what's going on. Alrighty, Miss Savannah is at the get to eat portion of the test. She only has 30 minutes to eat.
It's only been like
5
minutes and I've already ate the muffin and 2 sausages.
Yes, so she got an omelet, hash browns, sausage, and a muffin. So that's what she's eating, and she's already starting to activate some portions of her, like here's some more coming up, of her colon, just starting to eat. And so this is probably just she's sitting on one of the sensors because she's actually sitting up in the bed now to eat. So she said that she's probably just sitting on a sensor or something. But look, you got another good activation right there.
Like, bottom half of my stomach is going wild.
It's like food.
What is this thing?
How you like the mushrooms in it?
Yummy. Can't really taste them that much. It's
No.
probably, like, it's good that I added it in there because it gives it more nutrition.
Yep. They're mushrooms are good in protein. So that's just what we're doing. So this means we're about halfway through the test also.
It's a 6-hour test.
Yes, so what she's done eating, I'm gonna go down and get me some food. It'll probably be lunchtime.
Now you can't feel bad for eating it. Oh gosh.
No, now I won't feel bad for eating in front of you. So, anyways. Alrighty, so when we started the manometry, the lady said that pretty much we would order food by a certain time, she would eat, and then depending on her study would depend on if she'd have an enema or not. The last few people she's had to do, they haven't had to have an enema. But from the way I understand it, Savannah's contractions for her colon are not strong enough. So she just came in to give the enema. Now let me explain when I say not strong enough. So if you look at the screen, you see this red line. Well, what they want to see is that to go all the way down, and it should be yellow. So like you can see here how it's yellow. Well, it needs to go all the way down. So you can kind of see where these are starting to try. Mind you, these were induced with an enema. Her normal colon is not making the strong contractions like we want, but we're hoping that we can get a long line all the way down that is like maybe red to this yellow color, and maybe then like green at the end, just because that's the rectum. And so that's what we're waiting on. If she doesn't have that in the next 30 minutes, they have to give her another enema. So it's kind of, in a way, disappointing and almost surprising, because I honestly anticipated it to be normal. And at this point, from what I understand from the nurse who is doing the test, it's not. Because if there's an issue, then that can knock out her chance in getting the Malone, which is kind of what is like best case scenario for her. So we'll see what this enema does. If it gives her a strong line, I will record it so y'all can see what it's supposed to look like compared to what it does. How are you doing?
Good.
So, is it an easy test? I mean, you're just laying here.
Yeah,
The
but especially with EDS, you get very uncomfortable in one
yeah,
spot.
but it's not.
So
The test itself isn't painful.
I mean, it's not painful, but it does make you uncomfortable.
You're just uncomfortable because you have to lay still.
Well, yeah.
Your colon and your gut is not hurting.
No.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, she's just tired of laying in the bed. I would say the hardest part is the colonoscopy. But
Yeah.
you got biopsy and dilation, which we think is what created the severe pain that you had.
Yeah.
The colonoscopy itself and the placement isn't. The tubing for, it looks like it's backflowing.
Backflow. Oh,
It is. I guess that's why she put that there. Ew.
what? I want to see it.
It's your, hold on, I'll tell you. So anyways, the tubing itself is not much bigger than, where's that? This right here. Her NG tube. That goes in her nose. That's up her. So, you can't sit up. So there, it's getting better. She's,
Right after I tell you guys it's not hurting, I start hurting.
but she had an enema, so it's giving her the urge to use the restroom. So that's where the discomfort's coming from. Alrighty, this is what they were looking for, is these lines to show that all her colon is working, or that it's doing what it's supposed to. Again, this was induced by an enema, but this is what they were looking for. Hey Zablies, it is the next day. We are home. I didn't record any after the test because it took us 6.5 hours to get home when it should only take 4.5, but we got stuck in really bad traffic because of rain. So I wanted to give y'all an update on how the test went. So in the beginning, as you saw, Savannah didn't have a whole lot of activity. And in the end, they had to stimulate her by giving her an enema through the tubing. So the enema didn't start like at the rectum like normal enemas do, because they were able to put it through the whole manometry tubing. The enema actually started at the top part of the colon where the tube, like where the manometry tubing started, and worked its way through. And with that, it showed that her colon can work and work really well with help. So we won't get the official results until next week. They meet on Monday to review them, and then hopefully maybe like Tuesday I'll hear from them. But what the doctor said was this test showed that Savannah's colon does not work properly or strong enough without help, and that she is a very good candidate for the Malone. So that is what I'm anticipating them to call me and tell me, is that we need to schedule the surgery for the Malone. But in addition to that, conversation has been brought up about a G-tube. She also needs fluids. She's had an NG tube for about 1.5 years, and that's way longer than what they like. And part of the reason she's had it so long is because I asked if we could wait a little bit longer. Then we did wean her off of it for feeds, and in hopes to wean her off of it with fluids, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And then with doing these irrigations, that dehydrated her even more, which made her have to put her tube back in. If she gets the Malone, she's gonna always be continuing to do these irrigations, so she's going to need the fluids. So we're kind of stuck with, she has to have a feeding tube of some sorts, whether it's we continue with the NG tube or she gets a G tube. The talk is when she gets the Malone, if and when she gets the Malone, to place a G tube also, so that she gets both surgeries done in one time instead of having to go to the OR multiple times. Now again, this is the preliminary report from the doctor stating that in her eyes, this showed that Savannah is a very good candidate for the irrigations, and the Malone, that is the best treatment for her. But again, we have to wait for the official results to come out for them to make a decision. But I asked her, I specifically said, does this mean she's a good candidate for the Malone? And she said yes. So I expect them to call me and tell me, we're going to do the Malone and let's schedule the surgery. I don't know when the surgery will be, but I anticipate it'll be fairly soon. But I guess we'll just see. I did express to them that we really want to get Savannah back to school. So I need the surgery done and her recovered by January. So that's where we are. I have contacted her GI doctor. I have emailed them. I'm waiting to hear back from them on the whole G-tube thing to see kind of what their thoughts are on that. So that is where we are. That is how the test went. And the test made me nervous. They came in kind of quickly, the nurse that was performing the test and the doctor right behind her, and they were getting ready. They told me that Savannah had 30 minutes to show that the enema was doing what it needed to show the contractions in the colon, and if not, then she would get another enema. Now, mind you, in the very beginning, she told me, if all goes well, we won't have to do the enema at all. So when they came in saying they needed to do the enema, that made me a little nervous, because I realized then that what little things I was seeing that I thought was good wasn't. So then she said she has 30 minutes. Well, at that 15-20 minute mark, Savannah still hadn't shown what they needed to see. And so they came in and they were getting ready to do another enema. And right then, she started showing what they needed to see. So thankfully, they didn't have to do another enema through the tubing. So then afterwards, they removed the tubing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Removing the tubing hurt for Savannah. They do suture it in with just one suture so that it holds place, because they have to wait like 24 hours before they can actually do the test. And so when they remove it, although it is a dissolvable, it's only been 24 hours, so it's really not that dissolved. So it did hurt her just for like probably 15-20 seconds, and then she was good. And then they pulled the rest of it out, and she had no problem. She was able to get up, take a shower, eat, and we left. So I will be honest with you, it does hurt when it was removed, but it's very quick, and once that part's removed, she was good. The rest of it coming through didn't bother her. It was just that one little section. So that is where we are. So I hope that this is a little bit more informative on kind of where we are with her health. And as soon as I hear from the doctor, I'll do an update again on what the plan is. But today is officially Halloween, so happy Halloween, everyone. And the next video you will see will be the kids for Halloween. So I hope y'all have a great Halloween, and thank you for following with us. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because although I try to upload every Tuesday and Friday, with some of these changes coming in, I'm probably going to be uploading a little bit more. And so that just gives you a notification that I've uploaded, so you don't miss any of our videos. So again, happy Halloween, and we will see y'all in our next video.